So one of the big messages in my book is that you should not care what other people do or say or think, because other people's opinions shouldn't have any weight for you, right? Like, you should follow your dreams. You should live out your purpose on this world, in this lifetime. And I realized that that's a really, really tough thing for a lot of people to understand. And I used to care a lot about what other people thought about me. I was a really shy and insecure kid and was like that a lot, like all the way through my adolescence, believe it or not. And it wasn't until I was part of a community that I totally lost. I was totally betrayed by an entire community. And I write a lot about that in my book as well. But I was totally broken and I had to build myself back up. And it wasn't until I went through that huge dark night of the soul that I learned these soul lessons, these life lessons, right? And the biggest takeaways from that, the biggest learnings were to not take anything personally, right? What people say and do is so much more about themselves than about you. And it says so much more about who they are as people than who you are. And to just not give weight to people's opinions. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is that a lot of times we have to go through the lesson in order to really understand it. And for people who are trying to inspire other people, for spiritual teachers, I think one of the biggest lessons for us is really compassion, right? To know that if someone is going through a hard time, if someone is suffering, if someone is in pain, any kind of pain, then that's not the time to preach to them, right? Or if they're on social media, like promoting something hardcore, like arguing with them isn't going to change their opinion, especially in a public forum. Instead, you do whatever you can to help that person who's suffering. And that's what compassion is, right? Like, if someone's got a broken arm, you help them get to a doctor, or you give them a pill, or like whatever it is. Maybe you just lend them an encouraging word or a loving word in the moment, because they're not going to be able to hear you, right? They're not going to be able to hear that like their pain is an illusion, or that, whatever it is. But then once they're calm and relaxed and in a state, then you can kind of explain the nature of reality. You can explain all of that to them. And that's when you can kind of do your, I don't want to call it preaching, but you can do your teaching, right? So I think the same is true for people who haven't gone through the same lessons as you. All you can do is lead by example, and you can tell them your teachings, but you can't get frustrated because they haven't done that lesson.